Hello everyone, this is your girl Lizzabitty. I am in the grocery store. And although I've done grocery store videos before, this is not that kind of a video. So welcome back to the YouTube channel. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you can. So, you may be asking yourself, why do you have this jacket on? I am always cold and it's freezing in here. And I don't want to turn the air off because then it will end up being very, very warm in here. It's just the nature of the beast. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Today's topic, the greatest impact that you can do on Mother Alkebulan. This is a serious topic. When you're making your transition to basically move to Mother Alkebulan, one of the things that should be on your planner as to how you're planning this move is to what impact you want to make on the continent. Not all of this superficial stuff, things of no consequence, things that probably only matter to you and probably couldn't make an impact to the people at large. So be very intuitive, precise. Use great precision in the ideologies and ideals that you come up with in terms of how you can help out the people at large in whichever country that you're deciding to repatriate on. And you may say, well, Lizzabitty, why? Because whatever you do, you want to ensure that it affects people and change in positive ways. I'll give you an example. If they are saying that the average income of whatever your respective country is for a local is $100 a month, okay? You start up a business, your business becomes very profitable. And if your business can sustain and afford you to pay people a better wage than $100 a month, you should do that. Just because the status quo says everyone across the board, regardless of their education, etc., that's what they're making, why would you settle for that? Think of yourself as an American and the minimum wage that we have in the United States and how Congress and the Senate for years have been embattled in raising that. And I understand people say, okay, well, if they raise the minimum wage, then companies have to raise the cost of doing business. Understand that. So are you saying that the people who are making those wages don't deserve to have a livable wage? Because how can you pay someone, what is it, $7.75 an hour? And a gallon of milk is almost $4 a gallon. And in some states like New York and California, it's even higher than that. Think about that. That's a very valid point. Don't find yourself being looked upon as nothing but a taker and not a giver. A giver who wants to see the local community thrive. You want to see it thrive. You don't want to see people living hand to mouth, that all they make is just enough to barely feed their families, or because the status quo is only paying them once a month. Why don't we get into the habit of paying people twice a month or bi-weekly, depending on the jobs that they do? You know, especially if these are permanent people on your payroll. This is just a simple scenario that I'm giving you. The flip side of that is that your business becomes lucrative, and the only ones whose pockets is being lined is the owner. Isn't that the state of affairs with a lot of American companies? And now these companies are suffering because they were not investing in the talent pool. And so one catastrophic event happens and these companies are crying that they're bankrupt. Well, where did all the money go? Oh, it all went to all the shareholders. You never invested in your talent pool at all? Because what happens is, I'll give you a scenario. I remember when I was in graduate school and Northwest Airlines was going through a bunch of stuff financially. And one of the things that they instituted was asking their workforce to take a pay cut for a limited time so that they can get themselves out of the red. And then once they got salvageable, they would, of course, reinvest back into their workforce. They did that. The employees were happy overall. So I say to you, keep your eye on the prize and how you want people to view you on the continent. Again, are you a giver or a taker? Do you want to be like the colonizers in all that they've done to decimate these countries and pit blacks in the diaspora against their ancestors, against the lineage from whence we cometh? It is a lot to take in. I am not by any means telling you that this is going to be an easy feat. Never would I ever say that. Moving anywhere, whether you're going from another city to another state, especially going to another country, is not for the faint-hearted. I said to you in a previous video that this is not for everyone. If you recall, I had interviewed Sean B. about some politics and traveling. When I asked him about moving to Alkebulan, he said he could never do it. He could never do it. He said one of the things that he looks forward to is always coming back to his house in the United States. And the comforts that he is afforded there at that particular home, he'd have to have equal to that. And since he's been on 6 continents, there was no place like home. Okay? And so I applaud his honesty in that. He recognizes that he is not going to set himself up to eventually have to move back home, let's say the US of A, because he was not built for the challenge. You have to respect that. So some of you all out there are contemplating this move. Some of you are doing that. At the same time, should you? Are you truly being honest with yourself? Because you're going to have a great impact when you do this. There are a lot of unknowns about the black diaspora with the indigenous people of the different African nations, okay? It is up to us to break the cycle in the myths. Why? Because a lot of them have not traveled abroad. A lot of them have never interacted with blacks that have been in the diaspora. They only know a lot of what they see on TV and YouTube, and a lot of these are stereotypes about us. They don't have any firsthand interactions. So I want to say we have to be more vigilant and diligent in how we move. And while you're doing that, strategically Think again if you want to be a positive influence or a negative one and make an impact on the continent. No one is going to applaud you when you're nothing but a taker. And if they do initially because they don't really know who you really, really are, okay. But eventually that cover wanes. And when that cover wanes and the gears begin to shift, how are you going to throttle that? How will you throttle that? How? Ask yourself. Be diligent about it. You know, one of the things that one can do is to start an NGO that serves a need for their local community and nurture that NGO to really affect change in the community. How are you going to go about doing that? What do you really want to do? So begin to think about that prior to you making your way across the water. And again, ask yourself, what will be the greatest impact that you make on Mother Alkebulan?